Della gioia vivo dalla gioia venni per la gioia vivo, in sacra gioia mi immergerò. Dalla gioia venni per la gioia vivo, in sacra gioia mi immergerò. Dalla gioia venni per la gioia vivo, in sacra gioia mi immergerò. Dalla gioia venni per la gioia vivo, in sacra gioia mi immergerò.
Good evening, everyone. It would be a great joy to spend this evening with all of you, with friends, and at the Kriya Band, and with there's a powerful Kriya activation, initiation this week, and thank you for being here. Thank you for special guests who will be here this evening to share their experience and to honor Swamiji. And thank you, everyone's following from home. And we feel your presence. It's very precious for us. We are all here close to our master, Swamiji. So we imagine his figure right there. We can feel his presence. He's already here with his joy. He envelops us with his aura, with his light, with his wisdom, with his divine friendship, and his love for all of us. He smiles at us, and he gives us his blessings. We are very happy to be here this evening to share this new book of Swami Kriyananda. It's been a few years since we haven't written any more books. From 2019 when we published his novel. And there'll be a celebration and a party tonight. Yeah, and you'll see the title is The Way to Success. It's a very important work. It's a very great and marvelous thing. It's a manual for life. It's really an extraordinary thing for success at all levels. It's success at personal level, in our work, in our activities, and in the widest sense of the word. Just like abundance, like rich, not just riches, but also interior abundance that arrives when we follow the principles of our Dharma. One important principle that Swami Kriyananda followed his whole life is to bring great joy. Where there's justice, there is victory. And this is a thread that flows through all of the chapters of this book and the experiences of his life. They are beautiful and precious lessons and a lot of affirmations. It's a manual to study for our lives. He said to me, I tried in every word to put the vibration success just like the masters have taught me. It's a great artistry. And just as these lessons have flown in him, and these lessons of Yogananda are powerful, just like the hidden diamonds that have been brought to light. And so we are very happy to have this book, to bring forward to the light. And Swami initially originally perceived it as doing the correspondence courses once every week, but as time passed, the flow changed, so we decided to unite it in one book. So it was more compact and easier to consult, so that it could reach more everyone, because all these teachings need to be known and lived in our lives. And I will stop here because we have a very rich evening with a lot of music and a lot of guests. So we want to begin with, like Swami would have liked, with music, and his music with the chorus. And they will sing with us songs of Swami. This was one of the many other gifts of him. And these elevated concepts and deep and profound through the music. And so now we'll hear these songs, which are in English. And they're a great inspiration. So let's welcome our chorus and our director, Peter.
Cosa?
Thank you. Here's a magnificent course that's able to make everything living and vibrant. And naturally, thank you to Swamiji that's donated this musical repertoire that's so extraordinary, that enlightens our soul. His genius never finishes to surprise us and to make us wonder. Thank you very much. And now we want to enter into this book and discover it a little together this evening. And he composed it and he wrote it in a very particular moment. He was in a hospital in India with a bad lung infection, and they asked some advice how he can work his how he can work his divine karma, live his divine dharma. And Swami was always in service, and he said, "How can I help this person? If I begin to channel and think for this man, how he could improve his dharma." And he channelized all of these lessons, and this course was born, and so it was perfect. So we want to hear his words from the introduction, so how this book was born. And it's always beautiful to hear it, how Swami told it. How was this path born? I found myself in the hospital because of a bad infection. It was February of 2004, and just for a few months I had chosen to return to India. And one of my friends was by my bed, and to my surprise began to ask me advice. I didn't expect in the doctor to ask advice from me. He said, "Can you help me? I believe in the principles of yoga, but from time to time I practice pranayama, but I have many material preoccupations. My son is going to university, and this is a financial worry to me, but there are also other things that worry me. How, how can I fulfill my earthly duties without while still maintaining my ethics?" And he could see in his eyes that this was an inner fight, struggle, and and this can present themselves to anyone in every part of the earth. That's from my own personal experience. I knew it was possible to maintain this following the principles of yoga. So I thought myself at the time of our conversation, finding me in a bad week, I didn't think I was much of an example of success and I could add so much. I asked God, how can I respond to help you? And while I ate lunch, the response came, I would write a correspondence course, and I will call it The Ethics of Yoga for Material Success. And after a little, Kashava, a resident of our ashram, came to find me. Kashava, I said, waking from my sleep, find me pen and paper, and then write which I say. Speaking slowly, the new introduction of these lessons, the titles arise slowly, like rocks covered with snow, and then being exposed slowly by the sun. And the ideas continued to come. And the no 27, what was written in every lesson, and the pardon was never forgiven, and was also full of lesson, and it was never, and was written lesson, and was with his force. And if he was a monk, I could find a different way to follow my dreams in dharmic way, and asked me to rigidly following principles, spiritual teachings, for wisdom and practical wisdom that God and the Guru gave me in this task. And I don't think anything was ever written that was teachings of my master. It's like a diamond bind, and it's with that just needs to be discovered and brought to the light of the day. Thank you. It's beautiful. So I want to thank all the people that all of it sustained us. Why putting this book together, and our editorial team. We have them here, Tarlo Imavan. We want to thank them. There's Chaya and Jin that returned from America, but he can't be here today. He's a bed, but he's the one that created this beautiful cover that's very long, and asked the people from business and the library and people here. So we hope this cover brings honor to the great work of Swamiji. So now we'll begin an interesting part of this evening, inspirational. I asked some friends that are good friends of Swami, so they will honor Swami and they could share their experiences. The purpose of success, world of work, that had received great results, bringing into their activities consciously these principles of Dharma. And we are very happy to see this in this context that Swamiji has put seeds in each of them, Swamiji and the masters as well, in these precious teachings. So let's begin. A great dear friend. As you know, he comes from Ananda Roma. He's a director and screenwriter, and he knows the screen well. And he was candidate Golden Globes and Emmy Awards and BAFTA. And he's a very talented director with great deepness and sensibility. And he's known for his great telephone series, pink bracelets. And we know his biography of the saints, Giuseppe Moscati, and then Santa Penelope. He's working on the film of Carlo Acutis, the young saint. So beautiful. And Giacomo, is great to bring the spiritual teachings into these films that speak into our heart. This is a great friend of Swamiji. They work together and worked on various movie projects. And he practiced these teachings profoundly in his life and in his teachings. So welcome. So I'm very emotional, to tell the truth. I didn't want to come, but who knows? Nadini. No, I can only say no 4 or 5 times. But I was very happy to bring my contribution to witness the importance that Swami had in my life and Ananda. I arrived in Ananda for the first time 25 years ago, and my life had completely changed. Excuse me if I get a little emotional. I want to clarify immediately that I would have liked to arrive, but that I hope to change, but didn't. I felt a little embarrassed to talk. I felt immediately it was an important path that I could never interrupt. If I look at my life from the beginning, Swami was, and is still now, was my best friend that I ever had. And I feel in his first steps, my first steps, and Swami gives me great pleasure to share with you the changes that he made in my life and in my work. When I began to hear the things in a different way, and I recognized immediately how important the teachings that I found here and that you'll find here in this book. From the beginning, I felt like I was at home, and one of the friends of Ananda spoke, and I felt like they were saying things written about me, but needed to be brought to light, that needed to be said with clarity. It's simple things, but also fascinating. I also want to be very concrete, and that's then some spiritual things. Only our personal experience is that which matters, and so I can't know much about saying about others. Just as a director, when I came to Ananda, I did a film every 3 or 4 years. It was a very long process and very tiring, an experience of great aloneness. No, you know, soon just made this song, this ego that creates our solitude. And I created this film, beautiful films, but it was a very great, tiring film. It was very hard to put into words that which I had thought and imagined before. I didn't have work, I didn't have money, I didn't have the right people to work with. It was really a war between my ego and all the rest of the world. And when my consciousness began to change, I began to understand that I needed to quit, stop pushing with all of my strength, but I needed to try instead to pull in from the universe. I understood, I thought that I was no longer alone, that my ideas were not mine, that they were already there, that my strength wasn't mine. And the more I put myself in the middle, the more things slowed. I took a step back. And as a result, I was able to do a film or a series every year. I can say there was never any more problems or difficulties. There actually were many, but I had more calmness and serenity to face these problems in a direct way. And when I overcame problems with layers, but I preferred to instead go directly to the producers and try find a solution, not like an arm of iron, like it's necessary to win at every cost, but always with harmony and in faith. The first thing that I learned here was the power of our energy. The knowledge of our energy when we let it flow is incredible. It's infinite because it's not ours. And the exercises of recharge exercise became my battle arm. And my troops didn't ask me, and all of my cast was asking me what I drunk, what I smoke, but my secret was the energy recharge exercises, and I made the three lemons with a bunch of and I said this was my secret, and then all of everyone stopped to drink it, and so but for them it didn't work because I explained to them. Really, energy that I have is there for everyone, but because it's free, doesn't believe in it. When I made the film, there's a great actor. He said I was very tired. And it was such a hard work. And you can imagine movies. They're privileged, but also very serious and very hard. And the actors, I'm tired. I'm tired. You can't be tired. Come and do the exercises. And he was embarrassed, and he hid himself. He hid himself in the mirror and behind the sacrist, and said, "Well, I'm awake and ready." And I didn't stop until at the end we did it put together, and I see the results that you say. For at least for Swami, it was one of his more beautiful moments. And to all the cast, well, I tried to explain this energy. So it was the first thing to get up and to speak, to share with your team. And this is Swami said. And to all the, and so we all did the energy recharge exercises together. And it was beautiful. And the other day, I just finished Sirius, my secretary. At least she told me for the last 10 years she does it even when she's working. And she said when I get up early I can't do anything else. And say that I have great needs, a little hard. The director, who knows really what the director, but the director tells everyone else to do. But there are 100, 150 people that it's not easy to guide them. And it seemed a little like a bird of wolves. Because it's those that worked for more. And they became aware I had total and it's experiencing that which I did. And I can't always be the first. I'm the one with the most enthusiasm. And there's those who know. And they follow me. My cast, that the majority of casts don't do. But everything that I'm telling is not to talk about what I'm doing, but talk about these instruments that really work. They really do work. And that's, for example, we're in the cast. We do these rites of benediction and initiation together. I remember in Puglia, and there were 70 people, and they all of them came to water, and the most happy was the producer, and it creates a different type of bond. And then you see these films, the person in them are very happy, they find an experience that goes beyond professional work. I did this one project because I saw paradise. So this saint, who do you think he is? Who is the saint? Do it slowly. At the end, he was more saintly. And at the press conference, he asked, how's the film? He said, I did a lot of films. A lot of them you forget. Others you can never forget. This is one of them, but I won't say it. But he had a great change during the filming. When whoever saw Marie of Nazareth. And then I experienced another thing that I wanted to talk after, but I will share a little bit now. I was very focused and very precise, and for that which happened for Mary, it was not easy to find an actress to find that could play her. We looked at Rome and Paris and Germany, and she was not very happy. There was a girl from Morocco that was humble, but she didn't seem the right type, the best. But then I received a file from a actress that can beat there, and I said this film, how can we make a film about Mary if we don't have an actress to play Mary? And it becomes enormous business. And so film 15, 20 days, there's always problems with producers and money. And you say, good enough. And it's a deep thing. And in my experience, that people listen every time there's a problem. It was always resolved at a certain time. And I saw this video short of a woman that couldn't come. They brought this tape, and she was going traveling. So she been in front of the camera, and she gave an audition that really touched me. She's as tall as me, and she said, "How could the Madonna, this tall German woman?" But there was something profound, and so we asked for him to return from Haiti. We asked her to be a volunteer, and she said something about working 10 years ago, which we didn't remember. She came, and when I understood suddenly that she was the one we were looking for. And I always thought of Mary as Narayani. And Narayani was with Swami. And so, can I have her as the actress? I don't think it's a good idea because she's helping Swami the whole week. So I never said that to her before. So I went look for the German woman. And for Joseph, I chose Luca Marelli, who's now filming a film about Mussolini. And then they got married, and they were together for 15 years now. And I spoke of the energy that shared. As you know, the energy, when we share it, it multiplies. So when we do filming, when working with foreigners, and I want to do this, I want to do that. Can we do this 3 times, but we can do it. And so finally something happened, something in our field. And another important thing that we experienced is the concentration and the visualization. I'm very concentrated and focused because this is a gift of meditation. And the director is asking director 60, 70 people that are always asking you questions. So you need to be very focused and not mistake, because every error you make, then it just compounds. And so I visualize the film. When you write it in the set, you imagine and create what was on the page. And that was beautiful, was between to be true to your idea, and it's not your idea, but it's you who are going to service to an idea that needs to be told. And so I give all of myself and try to give the maximum for each film, and I try to surf on the reality. So I was very strict, and I didn't move a millimeter, and then I butted heads with everyone. And many times, if you're open, the solutions come easily and simpler. And so many films that I did, and half the time that I was originally asked, and they came out well. And I did them and then completely different than as I thought, because I was open to everything that happened, and everything flowed and it arrived. Also because my ideas are not my ideas. They are as a flow, that there are many ideas at my disposition. So if I'm not panicked and if I get relaxed, the answer always comes. And then one time I was watching the technicians, if this works or this didn't work. At the beginning, the actors, when they came, how do I portray this to them? So I asked the maximum of all my cast. So just one last experience, and then I need to end here. And they know that it's not the important thing, but I want to share my ideas. So can I finish? This is important. I quit my egoic films. I decided to put in service the important stories of the saints. So I'm happy to give voice to these saints, and I accept that which arrives. Sometimes there is saints, or the persons, or the stories that have these teachings, and other persons, and the people from the public come, and it's in the film The Paradise. Give and it will be received. And they were very much surrounded by others. And you, whatever you can, said, no, this is how it works. And so San Giuseppe di Corpetino, it was rewritten completely. And the truth is, I haven't done it yet. It will be done. And then one last thing. I would saying things arrive just at the moment. And then a friend, I didn't feel like working with her. It was always to work with her. It was always just a party to a friend with Yogananda. And I thought about if I had 5 or 6 years ago, it would have just seen us. Who knows? The times are more mature. maybe it will have an impact, a different impact. So if you want to pray that we can make this film about Yogananda, and I don't know when it will be ready, or I will be, but there was a lesson of Swami, have a film about Yogananda the Master, and a sweet and beautiful film. I think it would be something, this a soul that was Chim Him, and we always work together to arrive at the excellent and best interpretation of the film. Thank you, Giacomo, for sharing this beautiful experience. That was so special. And there's so heart and so much spirit. So thank you for your inspirational work. So now I will call another friend, and it's Raja Siapako. And he arrived in Ananda in recent times, and he didn't know Swamiji personally, but he had a deep synchronicity and connection with him, and he became an entrepreneur in the restaurant, and he has organized events at a national level, very young, very much enthusiasm. Raja is always has to manage many people in his stressful situations, and you always see him with great centeredness, and he brings these principles of the spirituality in a working context with great heart. Thanks, everyone. It's an enormous pleasure to be here. So thank you, Nandini, that invited me. I can unite the daily of the working environment with the spiritual family of Ananda and this marvelous movement. It's a great blessing when Nandini called me and wrote me. And I said, well, Giacomo, how can you say no? If there was something to do, I had the occasion, the invitation from Swamiji and the masters to share with my experience and unite and try to unite what really is spirituality, practical spirituality, and with the world of business, that each day, that every day is very cynic and egoical. And my experience is experience of a boy who had a dream in the heart from a young man of something great. And this was how my experience was born. And that was to become an entrepreneur. I was a young boy, 16. I worked in a disco, and with some success in this, and then become an entrepreneur to realize my dreams. And I even began to understand that something was missing in my heart, and that thing was the truth of existence. And I understood all it more, the great love that you feel in the heart. And I couldn't find answers in this way, but in this way I began to become an entrepreneur. This train came, and with my brother, and the brother is called the window on the lake, which was our first restaurant, and we were always cultivating this dream. And then afterwards in my life, and then there's this book that was called Autobiography of a Yogi that sounded inside me, something that resonated in me, something I was looking for, and I felt my soul vibrate, and I had to give my life for this cause, for this work. And then after I knew Ananda, I knew this movement, this paradise on earth that is bringing a practicality to spirituality in various environments. And Ananda and Swami Kriyananda, I recognize the guide to mix perfectly material success with spiritual success. And it's just as a one, in fact, depends on the other. And experiencing the teaching, learning the teachings, I'm always being able to mix things better, to bring this energy, these teachings, to the business environment. And we're in an agency now. I like to call it a new era, because this manual that we have here is a practical guide to realize great works of Dharma. And in the future, all the people that want to do great things in the business environment with the new consciousness will follow these practical guides and these practical advice that Swami Kriyananda gave. And now I find to be able to apply it's a great blessing to apply these wondrous teachings of Swami, to fight for the Dharma, to always go against the tendency that's the way, a world where the Dharma is not there. And then us that can be an example, and then with work, with business, to realize personal ambition, and but creation of riches and prosperity, but for the world as well, and for the people that are around you. So my experience is this, an experience that came from boys, was knowledge or not know how to align with Dharma, with all the difficulties, but with this book, because this is the evening we are introducing this book. We have a concrete manual to follow to align with Dharma. So I realized that before this book, in the last few days, I was immersed in it. My alignment with Dharma was always a personal consciousness to the teachings. And the book that I read gave me the concrete answers, the practical, real answers in the book that we have lived and will live, that will give us our teachings. And we will see this be the teachings, and we will give this our Dharma and that which we do. So this is my experience, and thank you to Nandini, and thank you to Swami Kriyananda. So this wonderful book.
Cantiamo insieme Sono Om.
So we'll
Io
sing
la
together.
sorgente di tutta la
I
ispirazione.
am Om. I'm the font of all inspiration.
Sono Om, sono Om, sono Om, sono Om, sono Om, onnipresente sono Om, beato sono
So thanks for registering. So we'll ask, I think, the Romano Polly that comes from Romagna. Oh. And he's Moreno is full of enthusiasm, full of energy, full of talents and abilities. He founded a society 25 years in the automobile sector and had a great expansion according to his imperial talents. And he's also a counselor and passionate about education for the young. And he sustains many schools in Africa and South America. And we're happy to have him here and to hear about your experience, how to bring spirituality into the material in a very concrete way. The spirituality and material is something that taught that Nandini showed me, and really I didn't think I was doing anything in particular. I did my work, and I came from a family of great workers, and for me, work was work. What am I going to do when I grow up? I'm going to work. I don't know what else. And this satisfaction was not what, I was generally an optimist, and there's this emptiness, this sensation of looking. What do I need to do? I never content. So I'll just brief, because if I couldn't recount my whole life, we're here until tomorrow morning. In 2004, I came to Ananda. After I came on a path of different experiences of formation, or that taught me things, but I didn't want to be good in something and bring it home. I want to do good grades and good results, but you have a little bit more. You want title and pure, and some diploma to put on the wall, but this wasn't. That didn't interested me. In that period, I needed to develop something in Germany, and I like to know, be able to communicate with the people there. And I go to this woman who taught lessons in German, and I saw that she was already a disciple of Yogananda. Unfortunately, she's no longer alive. And I take many courses, and there was some I'm used to interest in this stuff, but I had a few doubts. But I have 40 years, and in result of it, there are problems. So where is all these miracles? So let's see. Let's go to Ananda. Okay. I was see for myself, and I came here in 2004, and I did a few yoga lessons. Okay, we'll see. I look at these saints behind me. I liked him because he was a worker. The Hirimarishaya. The others that talk a lot, but I like he's a good guy. I like him. So working, you can do something for good for others. I'll try to go behind him, and I'm looking for information. I couldn't find much information. They and I tried to take photos of him, and the photos didn't come out. And then I read the autobiography of a yogi. Oh, also this boy here, Yogananda. He seems good, but thanks to him, like hearing my shit, yeah, because the guru line begins with him. Babaji, oh, according it was an entity, but I can. So that was okay being with an entity because I have faith in something divine above. But I had difficulty to enter into this mechanism. But let's try and trust and go farther into the techniques and as well into the talk of the book. But I began to trust these techniques. Let's begin to practice these techniques because there was these techniques, something that was I'd already seen. If we read the Gospels and the miracles of Jesus Christ, there's always something that has belongs to these teachings, and the realities are many, and there are these gurus that were very good for me. But I needed to trust, but I never had before. But I was used to making my company work. I was the first person. I was looking collaboration with the people, with urban people, not dictatorial, but participate. But it wasn't something that I had envisioned for myself as young. So I began to come to Ananda, and I took Kriya. And the sense of all of this, there was not one single moment that there was something that was changing me. I found myself changed. So the perceptions and the knowledge came up here. So everything I read and the people and saw in other people, and they didn't make me good and better. I was just present. I was there. And I was there in reading a book or listening to a person that was asking me something. I was there for a client or for a supplier. And this transformation that allowed me to leave beyond my abilities, and then shifted into my vocational. Right? And then you can begin to perceive and say, I am this. Then I am this. Doesn't mean attached to my diploma or that which happened. What happened or my success. It means I'm content with myself. But my success comes from something bigger, something inside of me, but also outside of me. But looking outside of me, I can see who I am. But it's not an exercise. The exercises serve to arrive at this type of understanding. There's not a type of shape. But 5, 6, what does it matter now? I wasn't able. It was a strange conversation. Hard time to understand. And above all of this, the good. So if you ask me if you found sense, thanks to the techniques, going by the techniques, they can just resemble techniques. You are asking me how to do something, accept or not accept. No, you just have to trust. Nandini asked me to write a few lines, uh, and I will agree with Giacomo. If something happened, we live in problems, we live with complexities, we live with everything that the world brings us. And we see the people outside of us, this moment we are living in the world. Of course, we can play for the answers that we need to have, simply to look at these masters, see all the mornings and all of the evenings, and ask them, thank you. Say to them, thank you for all that you've done. And then say who I am in my heart. It's something that works wonderfully well. Then being aware of the things, something that I studied many years ago, the Divine Comedy, the 76th Song of Purgatory, a Virgil that could, it was he that can, like the master, he conducted Dante through purgatory. There's a metaphor for our lives before he allowed them to enter into paradise. At the end, he said, at the end of this verse, there's 3 lines. Finally, in peace, your fame, and then you've been able to pass through pace, and you're able to overcome something so big and inspirational through these masters that can be like Virgil in my life. I was able to see something higher that inspired me. And so what was this? Happiness, love. I finished. Thank you. Yeah, so this witness of comes straight from the heart. And it brings such a beautiful and way in the evening. So now we have someone here, another our nostra friend, Atma Jyoti. You know her. And she's a teacher of the spiritual Christian and coaching course. And to bring these principles into the world of work. And she has experience of 25 years as a manager consultant. And she worked in many multinationals all over the world and was a university professor. And when she came to Ananda 12 years ago, she wanted to create courses to bring these principles, spiritual principles, in the world of work at many levels. And so we are very happy to hear about her and her projects. First, I begin like this. This isn't a book. This isn't a book. This presents a new consciousness. And this new consciousness, it gives us a new way to work with God and for God. And just to see this as a book is very limiting. The truth is, when you begin to read and work with this book, everything changes inside of you, beginning with 2 thoughts, and with emotions and your intentions and your desires and your behaviors, everything, your language, your communication, if it changes, your consciousness changes with this sacred treasure. With this treasure, I don't want to say book, but this sacred treasure. I grew a course of spiritual business that we created last year. So this book doesn't have just principles and instruments and techniques as an energy that can transform you in an incredible way, that works and think and interact with others with a very high consciousness, with a very high awareness. And I think the world is ready. Yesterday I saw the first book in English. It was written in 2004. In 2004, as I was a professor in English near London. And for 2004, the they are entrepreneurs and the things that they do. And now, 21 years after, now we have these beautiful publications, and we've reached a critical mass that is ready. And this is completely different from a social entrepreneur, from a spiritual entrepreneur. This means a critical mass that wants, that have the desire and the ambition to work for God. This ambition, this consciousness changes everything. And it's in a beautiful new era, and we are all a part of this. Swami Kriyananda said, I want to read it here. Up and as long as you breathe the free air of the earth, you have you are obliged to give service. We all have this obligation, each of us. We all have this obligation. And with this treasure, sacred treasure, we can do it in a very high way with the supreme consciousness.
Prova a sederti con la spina dorsale retta un momento Chiudi gli occhi.
Silence for a moment, close your
e
eyes,
pensa a
and think
una meta che hai nella tua vita
a goal that you have in your life
che è meritevole, cioè è degna di proprio
is
essere benedetta e
worth
guidata dal
being
divino.
blessed and
Qualcosa
guided
che
by the
aiuterà te,
divine,
ma aiuterà anche gli
something that will
altri.
help you but will help others as well.
E mentre la tieni nell'occhio spirituale,
keep
cantiamo
it there
questo
in your
canto
spiritual
brevemente
eyes
ma
as we
intensamente.
sing the
Nulla
song.
mi può fermare.
Nothing can
Alzati mio
stop
cuore,
me.
alzati mio cuore nella libertà.
Lift up my heart in liberty and freedom.
Nulla mi può fermare, alzati mio cuore. Nulla mi può fermare, alzati mio cuore. Alzati mio cuore.
And we'll continue to flow with this affirmation of ours. And we'll hear how the masters are guiding us. And we are toward the conclusion of our evening. We went a little over time, but it was very beautiful to hear the witnesses of these people. So we'll ask one friend to come, Zio Yogorini. He has been attending Ananda for many years. He is this multinational consultant for many years, and he worked for many societies in the United States, and he worked with the consultation and public, and wrote a book on coaching and how to be success in 24 hours. He came to Ananda in 87. He knew Swami Kriyananda, and that meeting changed the course of his life. So we're thankful to have him and to hear his experience. So, good evening to all, and thank you to everyone and to Nandini for the invite. And I'm very emotional. Very first time that I was on this side. So it's a very emotional moment for me as well. So where do we begin? I saw Mauro at the back that gave me a reading a few days ago, and so how things now become clear. I'm from Padova originally, and I'm going to speak a couple minutes about my mother because it's important. She needed to have 3 sons that graduated college. This influenced my life. I studied electronic engineering. My mom was very proud of me. This was for about 15 years of my life. And Nadini told a little of my story. And then something happened in 96. All of these coincidences started to happen. And I entered into a library in Padova, a bookstore. I look at the book, and this book keeps attracting me, and I grabbed it. And it was an autobiography of a yogi. And from that moment, it was just, I go from one place to the other. I would go and I would always see this book, autobiography of yogi. And I went to English and I was doing a course. And I went to the library of this place. What do I find on the table? Lay down the table an autobiography of a yogi. So here is something that's happening to me. And this brought me to focus and pay attention. At a certain point, I felt this desire to look for a community that followed the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. They referred to Americans. So I either go to America, but I hope there's something in Italian similar. And I was looking in computer company. This was before. And so this was in 2000 before, so I had to go around explaining how the internet worked. And I found on the internet, and then magically appears Ananda Ropa in the CZ. So this isn't a coincidence. There is something very particular. And in 97, I came for the first time. And I met Swami. And I began to take my first courses. Very basic for me. And so I put you in the mind of an engineer where I was beginning from with an engineer approach, very square and very rigid, very controlling, all this mix of stuff. And it was a period that I loved music. And I bought all of the CDs of Swami because I began to listen every day while I was working on the computer. I listened to the music. That music followed me. So thank you to the Radio Europe, Ananda. Now I have the music of Swami on my phone 24 hours a day. So it happened at a certain point. These strange questions came to me. What do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to do with your life? Do you want to do this activity, or would you rather do something else? And then began to think, rather, I said, you do it. Maybe this is a moment to let go. And this, like Giacomo said before, and looking at the master, there's something I didn't say before important when I came to Ananda from a Catholic family. As soon as I come to the, I see Jesus Christ in the middle. What is he doing? What he's doing in the middle of Indian masters. So this changed me. This allowed me to accept the fact there could be other figures, like an important figure, like Christ, that could be a point of reference. So from there, that was my first crack to accept that which was happening. I arrived at a point, and this point was I met a person, one of my classes. I had no idea what would happen in my life. And I did a session of coaching with a coach. And this person helped me, helped give me direction to my life. And I left that meeting. I want to do what you are doing for me. And I chose to completely change my life. It was a very important moment of change. And my greatest fear in change was not change, but was my mother. I returned home, and when I made the decision, I made the choice to leave work. I had a wonderful position, very, very well paid. I said, "What are you doing? Are you sure you want to do this?" And I said, "Yes, I know. I didn't know before, but now I know. I felt it inside myself. This was the right road." And I had a great fear to say that I wanted to change that she had done to make me study and make me become an engineer. I met my mom. I don't want to be an engineer anymore. I want to be a spiritual coach. She looked at me. I understand. I just one question. Are you happy? And this changed my life. My mother in that moment gave me the authorization to choose a life that was my life. From there, I began to work, doing a whole different line of work. And I want to relate for a moment with the book. And there are these pearls that are arriving in my life. And this book is the necklace. 26 pearls in this book. If you give me one moment, I will read a few passages from this book. my as a coach is my service is to help others, is to express their highest potential. This is the function that I do when I work with my clients. And think that before I worked as a consultant, I was an expert, and I said, "You do this. This is the right way." But when there was this affirmation, when you do it, I don't I don't do it anymore. I no longer tell people what they would do, because the most important thing is for the person is to express their highest potential, that which they have inside, that which I am in part trying to do myself. And I will read some passages that can be useful. Intuition is centered in the heart. If you're asking, a decision is the right one. Visualize clearly between the points, between your eyebrows. Ask your heart if the solution you are thinking of is the right one for you. This passage is that which happens to me every day when I'm in front of a manager. And we make many decisions, and this is a key. How to make a good decision. So I'll read you another passage. The men and women that developed the ability of inspection, that had intuition and introspection, they see every situation uniquely, and they ask themselves a question: what is wanting to happen? This is normally what if we have concentration, we can anticipate the future that is coming towards us. And if we welcome these hints, we are following our Dhammic path. This is a beautiful part in the book. The conscious mind seems to remain conscious focuses on the problems. The superconscious mind works on the solutions. And try to work on the solutions and not on the problems. Observe your problems and in all of its forms. And for every problem, there has to exist every solution. This is I do every day. This book is confirming to me how important this question for me. They are really pearls inside this book. And behind this book, there are the questions we can all ask ourselves to feel our way, to find our own way. The energy we make is something as important as the work we do. So we need to put our strength of will, so it's guided with more awareness to arrive at the correct awareness. We need to have the right inspiration. So Kriyananda is giving us to how we arrive to make an action through inspiration. With awareness, helps us to direct the life force that pushes us towards the energy. This is a formula. And I will close now. Welcome to subtitle. So this book, this manual, this lesson, I see it with a subtitle of this. Manual for navigating life in an ethical and aware manner. Thank you for this beautiful sharing. One story is more beautiful than the next because they really get to heart. So we have Narya, to close, you all know him. He's a wonderful teacher. He was for many years with Swami Kriyananda. He has also experienced as an entrepreneur. He was an entrepreneur before he came to Ananda. And he and Swami spent much time together, so he absorbed a lot from him. While Swami was writing these manuals, and he shared them with us, he had this intuition. So thank you for this doctor. He was a messenger that said you need to do this to help, not to make business, to help people refine, to find in themselves that which we already have inside. Swami said, Yogananda said, God didn't create this universe. He became this universe. He became each one of us. And this potential, not just in this book, but in all books in this world, are inside of us. Because everything that is written, everything that is said, that everything that is thought exists already in God. And when Swami, I knew the eyes of Swami, and he was very happy not to make good business so that people could find God through also business, through film, through selling cars, even cooking. This is the only reason that he wrote these lessons. He wanted to bring our memory, our unique life to God. And when we have business with God, is God that has personal business with us, and everything changes. Everything becomes special. Everything becomes divine. Everything in our life should be done with Him. When we are in His hands, we are His eyes, we are His mouth. And His eyes see much better than our eyes. They see things that we can't ever see if He wasn't there. Our life transforms. It becomes a divine life, changing our life, changes our way of working, and change the life of those who work with us, like Giacomo said. How many people we find who don't believe in our life? How many? But when they're in church, they pray, but when they're out, they do what they want. But there's no difference in our life. When we become in synchronicity with God, everything becomes divine. Not only our life changes, we change the life of this planet, and we will all become saints. So like Saint Philip, like Swami Kriyananda, like each of us following our destiny, that whether we believe or not, that's the only destiny that we have. We can wait 1,000 lives, 100,000 lives. But if we include God in our actions, our daily actions, even drinking a cappuccino or with a cornetto, it will become an action with God. Good evening to all. Oh, now we've arrived to the conclusion of the evening with so much gratefulness to all the Miss sharing, for sharing your experiences with Dharma and success, can work together, how these principles can function in every context of our lives, and in the environment of work. So thank you so much, friends of my heart, for have been here and for sharing all of your lives and your experiences. So thank you. So now I want to conclude with a small ceremony offering the book at the feet of Swamiji and giving them with our blessings so that it can touch many souls and inspire more Dharma in the world. So we ask our angels to come forward. So let's rub our hands together and bring our blessings to this book so that it can go out into the world and have much success, wisdom, and dharma to everyone. So, thank you
tutti per essere rimasti
for all of you who
tanto a
have
lungo,
stayed
fino a
much
quest'ora.
longer to this
Grazie
hour.
della presenza,
Thank you for your
grazie ai
presence,
nostri redattori
and thank
meravigliosi, ai
your
nostri amici,
our friends
ai
and
musicisti,
the
al coro,
musicians,
a
the
Swamiji.
chorus, and to
E che questo
Swamiji.
libro possa
And this
veramente
book can
ispirare le vostre
be
vite, mettetelo in
inspired.
pratica, leggetelo come
Can,
abbiamo detto tutti,
just like
è
as
un
we
tesoro
said,
di luce
it's a
e quindi che
treasure of
possa
light,
portare veramente
so that
luce
it
a
can
tutti voi.
bring light
E
to all of you.
adesso i nostri angeli
And now
passeranno
our
tra di voi
angels
con un
will
piccolo prasad sotto
come
forma di messaggio di
along with
Swami
you
tratto
and
dal
a
libro, che
prasad
sarà un messaggio speciale
and a
per
message
voi da
from
portare
Swami
nella vostra vita.
as from
E
him to
anche
bring
una
into our
pioggia di
lives,
petali che sono le
and the
benedizioni dei
rain of
maestri
petals
su
that
di
are
voi.
the blessings of
Grazie
rain.
veramente del cuore.
Thank you very
Jai
much from my
Guru, Jai
heart.
Swami.